Message is clear. The smuggling rings are fraudsters and thieves. These cases likely reflect only a small percentage of the Sri Lankan migrants who have paid smugglers to come to Canada. We estimate that over the past 4 years, thousands of Sri Lankan migrants have made initial payments of, as I've mentioned before, up to 1.5 million Sri Lankan rupees to smuggling syndicates. Those are the down payments, only to lose their money and face misery, threats, detention, and deportation. Transit countries have successfully stopped several planned voyages for Canada, and they will continue to do so. And here is a point I would like to emphasize. There is growing evidence that some agents claiming to represent smuggling syndicates taking people to Canada neither have the intention and certainly do not have the capacity to bring people to Canada. That is to say, they're simply taking the money with a fraudulent guarantee of migration to Canada with no intention of actually bringing people there. Now, I want to also underscore that Canada has changed its laws to crack down on human smuggling. Last June, our Parliament adopted the Protecting Canada's Immigration System Act, which includes tough new prison sentences of up to 10 years for those found guilty of organizing large-scale smuggling operations, and imposes fines of up to $1 million for the people who own the ships used in such criminal enterprises. We are also very concerned to see that in this post-war environment, there appears to be a growing pressure for emigration from Sri Lanka, whether to Australia, to Canada, or to elsewhere. And this indicates to us that there are what we would call push factors in this country. And so that is why, that's one of the reasons why the Government of Canada has expressed our profound concern about what we regard as ongoing human rights violations in this country, a lack of progress in political reconciliation, a failure of accountability for crimes that were committed at the end of the war, and that is why Prime Minister Harper has indicated that he will not attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting here in Sri Lanka this November unless there has been significant progress on the protection of human rights, on accountability for crimes committed, and on political reconciliation. And this is a message that I have conveyed to my counterparts here in the Sri Lankan government. Canada regards itself as a friend of Sri Lanka. The government of Prime Minister Harper, we believe, helped to hasten the end of the war by banning the Tamil Tigers as an illegal terrorist entity and the World Tamil Movement by cracking down on their fundraising and political operations in Canada. We are opposed to all forms of terrorism and extremism, but we are also champions of human rights and human dignity, and we call on all of our all countries, and particularly members of the Commonwealth, to respect those universal values. So I'm happy the Sri Lankan government should make every possible effort to pursue political reconciliation in good faith, to address many of the serious outstanding issues from the conflict, including returning people to their homes, to viable communities, to eventual demilitarization of the affected areas, to an independent judiciary, to general respect for human rights, to accountability for the most serious crimes that were committed on both sides during the conflict, to identifying the whereabouts of people who are still missing from the conflict. These are some of the benchmarks that we're watching, and which we think have created an environment which has helped to lead to some of the pressure for immigration. I quite frankly believe that the pressure is, the motives are of people who are seeking to use smuggling opportunities to get to countries like Canada and Australia are mixed. In some cases they're probably purely economic. In some cases they may be purely because of the political context here. In many cases there are mixed motivations. But in any event, here is a troubling fact. We see more efforts by Sri Lankan nationals to pay smuggling syndicates to come to Canada and Australia now than we did during the conflict. And that for us is a worrisome sign.